There ain't no rest for the wicked, and there isn't any rest for me as Coronation Street announces a returning character after 10 long years of not being on the show. Now, not to downplay it entirely, the clickbait is working. I don't even remember her name, it's Julie Carp. It is, I'm pretty sure, the woman that Jesse kissed back in like 08, 09 when he was last on the show. Now he's with Gail Platt, and now she's returning to the show for Eileen's exit. So quite like the Craig Tinker one, simply not going to be that much of a big video here. I guess I will thank everyone for subscribing. We've just hit 1,000 subscribers, so thanks to everyone all in all, and you'll probably be seeing some ads on some of these videos. But yeah, so Coronation Street has announced the return of character Julie Carp as part of Eileen Grimshaw's exit storyline. So obviously the context is they later learned is that Julie and Eileen are like half sisters. So they are indeed half sisters in a, you know, it's kind of that is the drama. That is exactly what they were trying to do. Look, Julie Carp, I'd never liked the character, really. I can't lie. I don't care for the character at all. I don't know. Actor Katie Kavanagh has returned to the Cobbles to reprise her role after almost 10 years away. She's set to surprise her on-screen sister, Eileen, and nephew Todd Grimshaw by turning up unannounced in Weatherfield, giving no real details about how long she plans to stay. Filming for exit scenes has already begun, where the viewers set to see Julie return on February 21st. So Julie will be returning on February 21st, so a month and a bit away. It is exciting to dust off Julie's quirky wardrobe again. An absolute joy to step back onto the cobbles, says Kavanagh. Julie is so much fun. I've missed her. Her character's return coincides with Sue Cleaver's exit storyline, who announced in January that she's leaving the soap in the spring after 25 years. And then still the quote. Show bosses have teased that Eileen and Todd are both delighted to be reunited with Julie, but question her reason for returning. How long is she planning on staying, and how will former partner Brian Packham feel about her arrival, they asked. Kavanagh made her Coronation debut back in 2008, arriving in Weatherfield as Julie following a holiday romance with Kirk Sutherland. I can't imagine Kirk and Julie. The relationship was short-lived as Julie's interest moved on to Eileen Grimshaw's son Jason Grimshaw, before she learned that Grimshaw's matriarch was actually a half-sister, making Jason her nephew. She eventually found love with newsagent Brian Packham, and they left the street together in 2015. However, off-screen they split, with Brian returning to the Cobbles without her in November 2016. If only he'd stayed off-screen, let's be fucking honest. Would like to have the inimitable Julie Carp back on the Cobbles, Coronation Street producer Kate Brooks said. As the ever-lovable Julie breezes back into the lives of the Grimshaws, not everything is quite as it seems, as Julie's secret sets off a chain of events that has huge ramifications for Eileen. Katie has slipped back into Julie's shoes with such ease that it's like she's never been away. Can't wait for the audience to watch Julie's story unfold, a story full of love, laughter, and tears. So there we are. That is the Julie return. What do I really think about this? Not much, honestly. The most I remember about Julie's character is she and Brian. During the Tyrone and Kirsty Soames storyline, her and Brian go out at the Red Wreck on the hill to try and see aliens, and Ty just puts a fucking made up UFO on a fishing pole, on a fishing rod, and hovers it, and it's got the lights whirring, and oh my god, it's aliens! It's aliens! Then then they kind of quickly start laughing, and they just make a fall out of Brian and Julie. I mean, to me, this feels like bringing back Jesse for Gail's exit. Ultimately, Julie is probably a fairly sizable part of Coronation Street. In a sense, she was there for 7 years. But, you know, imagine if you brought back Jason. in some way, right? Imagine they bring back Jason, they make up with Todd, and they swan off. Todd can stay, and they swan off, leaving the show for an extended period of time. That would be lovely. But Julie, I guess she can manage. I will look forward to seeing what this is like. But I've also not really seen much of Julie as a character, so I don't really know. I remember her being quite... she was obviously, when I saw her, a much more comedic character, and always seemed to be more of a comedic character, but seemed to be kind of the polar opposite of Eileen, and that they didn't really fit at all in a way. So, yeah, it's... I don't really know. I don't really know how to feel about this. I am glad that they're bringing in someone to have them depart. That's cool, I guess. But ultimately, I am underwhelmed by this. And especially after the mass cast culling, I wouldn't be surprised if we had some more characters who are fairly like on short-term deals, because obviously there's been all the rumours that they're not paying the cast as well as they used to, and ITV's running out of money, etc, etc. I'm not necessarily jumping on that bandwagon just yet. I will have to see a lot more to believe this. But it's weird to see another character introduced just as she's going to leave. But I say that with bated breath, being intrigued at what is going to make her leave, considering they're going to clearly give Eileen a bit more of a dramatic exit, rather than her just deciding she's had enough and she's off to Thailand or something, like they usually do, where she's like, oh, she's off to go see Jason. Jason is doing fine, lol, and I'm back. I wonder what's going to happen with her relationship with George. I wonder how George is going to stand the test of time, now being not excommunicated in a sense, now being away from Eileen, the character who was pretty much anchoring her to the show. And let's be honest, probably was a bit of a sweetener for Eileen to stay. She wanted Eileen to be in love and she wanted her to be happy. So kind of gave her a new scene partner, someone who she clearly enjoyed working with in the past. Who's going to take up Eileen's house? Is it just going to be Todd's? You know, is Sean going to move back in? There's just a lot of questions that are going to be surrounding Eileen's exit. And, you know, I've changed the tune. I don't necessarily know if it's... There's the argument that Eileen has been phased out in a sense, where she's not been given much good storylines. And there's a chance she decided, I'm 60 now, I want to do other things. And she's been doing Loose Women, and she's been doing more, like, extra stuff outside of the show. So there is a chance she just fully decided, fuck it, a lot of other people are leaving, it's not really, probably not really in the best place right now, let's just change the fucking tune, let's decide what to do now. So yeah, it's I guess I look forward to this. I mean, we will just remember that it says that first she's going to be appearing in February, so that is apparently when Eileen's exit storyline is going to really kick off and round out throughout most of the year. A story full of love, laughter, and tears. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Laughter, fair enough. She was more of a comedy character. Tears, something more dramatic. Julie coming in looking for, like, having a reason to come back. Not that we know what that reason is still an interesting idea and an interesting one to see how it's going to be performed. And there's also a lot of history. She's not been on the show for 10 years. Her life could have changed dramatically in 10 years. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how they navigate this. But I will say, I do definitely think she adds like an extra stronger bit. And I do think she'll mostly be comic relief. But by pairing the history and their family, you know, has Eileen's mum died, perhaps? You know, has one of the family died? Is Eileen inheriting something in a sense? Like, something like this happening? Because 10 years is a long time, and especially at their age, not to be disparaging in a sense, but, you know, especially for them at that stage in their lives, there's a chance that something big could have changed. Maybe she's adopted, I don't know. She always seemed to want kids. So, yeah. That's my take on this situation. Are you excited to see Julie back? Have you watched more of her than I have? I promise you it's not hard. Did you like Julie? Do you like the character? Are you excited to see what part she's gonna play in Eileen's exit storyline? At least seemingly opposite to the Gale Platt stuff. Seemingly they've actually thought out Eileen's exit. And hopefully it's not going to be underwhelming, but we shall see as it comes. Thanks for watching. I've been Ash from Watching Walford. See you next time. Bye bye.